Okay, today we're installing a brake hardware kit. In this case, it's 16 years old. I hear some squeaking, so it's a really good time to tackle this. Now, I'm old school, just using a socket with a breaker bar to break these lug nuts loose. Place it on a jack stand, and let's rock and roll. So now we need to remove the caliper bracket, and the rotor. As always, I'll be using just basic hand tools. Now the caliper is held on by two 12mm fasteners. I just have a wrench, light hammer. Now what's happening as I remove this fastener, this guy is rotating with it. Easy enough, just grab an adjustable wrench to keep this fastener from moving. And this is just a ratcheting wrench to make the job a little bit quicker. And as always, I'll list all of the tools used in the description box below. And the caliper bracket, simply held in by two 14mm fasteners. Now I bet some of you are thinking, oh great, these rotor fasteners that you find on Hondas and Acuras, Mercedes, and so forth. These are actually very easy to remove. Hand impact set. This is a lifesaver. Watch this. Firmly on there, hit the tool and rotate counterclockwise like you're removing a fastener. Okay? That's it. There you go. Now in this case we're really lucky because I can remove this rotor. If it's stuck on, number one, make sure that the handbrake is off. But number two, typically most rotors will accept it's an M8 by 1.25. And you see how they have two of these drill marks. And all that you do is insert. Now, as you tighten the fasteners, they will strike the hub and push the rotor right off. Oh, my finger. There's actually grabbing here. There we go. Again, M8 by 1.25. Now, before you start ripping things apart, take a bunch of photos. So I'll start by removing the upper springs. There are two of them. And then you'll find these tension pins, one on the left and one on the right. So grabbing a flathead, pressing down on the spring. Let me see if I can do it this way so you can see it. Hold on. And then rotating with needle nose. That's it. Press in, rotate. Whoops. And then we have one last spring, which is right here. This is the rod spring. Let me see if I can do it while holding the camera. There we go. This just comes right out of its mount. This just peels back. And then you have a lower return spring, which is right here. You can just peel this back. And this is the rod assembly. You'll see what this is later on. It's really just to adjust the brake shoes. Now right here is the parking brake cable. So this connects to inside the cabin. So there's a little spring here just pulling up. And so here we have the old brake shoes, the old hardware, new hardware. These two components, which came off the top and the side of the brake shoes, will transfer over to the new one. We just need to clean it up. The kit includes lithium grease. Just grab yourself a tub because there's not a lot in here. Good time to grab some brake clean everything off. 400 grit sanding blocks. These are terrific. Just to clean all of the dirt off. and a wire brush. So now we have everything laid out. Lithium grease, grease up the pivot pin, and this will drop in like so. Okay, and then we grab this, rotate it, and this sits like so. Convex washer goes on top. Then you have a U-shaped washer, which I'll just clamp down. Let me move the camera out of the way. Okay, so just clamp this down. Make sure nothing's binding up. So now I have the assembly. This lever meets up with, this is the brake cable that goes into the cabin. This can be a little hard because this spring is very, very strong. It's under a lot of tension. So I just have a needle nose plier. I'm going to pull this back. You'll see in a second here. As I can, then hold this in place and fit this in position. And there you go. Again, some nice grease. And this is the brand new adjuster assembly. You'll see what this is toward the end. Just make sure, at least in my case, the threaded end is pointing toward the front of the vehicle. So this is the opposite brake shoe, and this is where that rod lives. So right here is where the lower return spring. A little grease. Okay. Okay, here's the other brake shoe that's connected to the vehicle. Okay. This is a little tricky, this part. So, adjusting rod, threaded end toward the front of the vehicle. Lowest position, okay? You don't want it something like this, it's too far out. Lowest position. And then it goes into this groove on the bottom. This goes over here. Hard with the camera in the way, but there you go. So now I'm holding the entire assembly in place. This is really difficult on your own, so grab a clamp. Look how dirty I'm making the shoes. This is what you don't want to do, the grease on the shoes. So now we really have to clean this off. So grab a clamp, and that will. So now we're going to install the tension pins. Of course, grease. This goes toward the end or from the back of the brake assembly. Insert, and then with a pair of pliers, you'll rotate this so it clamps into place. Let me show you on the car. So let's do the opening on the right first. Roughly at 3 o'clock. It comes in right here. So we have both tension pins attached. Again, just make sure you grease everything and nothing is binding up. Everything is nice and smooth. So we're pretty much all set. We just need to install the connecting rod. And if you look at the springs, these are return springs. You can tell because they both have these loops. This one has a 90-degree angle. So this guy lives at the connecting rod. Okay, so everything is reinstalled. I cleaned off the brake shoes, and let's go ahead and slap on the rotor. And I also cleaned out the inside of the rotor. And there we go. Now the last part is just adjusting the tension of the brake shoes. So if you look inside, I'm trying to get this on camera, but right there is our adjusting rod. And if I grab just a flathead and start to press on them, and as they rotate, it will expand. So now, you see how tight it is? So now I just want to back it off a little bit, and we're good to go. And to back it off, I'm just pressing down on that adjustment wheel. See? Okay, I'm happy with this point. Just quickly cleaning off the surfaces for the brake pads, and just some brake grease. And I like to put some on the back of the brake pad where the piston makes contact. And regarding the brake pins, just make sure they move nice. You can also grease them up. So that's it, we're all done. Just put on the wheel, take it for a test drive, make sure you do the other side, and that's all it really takes. So I hope this helps a number of you out there, and until next time, thank you for watching.